But if Shira doesn't knock over my camera, okay, she made it. She's weaving through it. I'm like, she's about to knock.
One man, one van, and 2 cats, pure awesomeness. I also travel with my 2 partners who each have their own cat. We're full-time nomads and travel all over the country. Check out my adventures with my crew of felines and humans as we live rent-free, explore, and generally just have a great time. You're invited. I hope you come along because you're guaranteed to enjoy the ride. So sit back, hang tight, and don't forget to buckle up.
What's going on, everybody? It's Kai again, and I'm here this time with a pretty short and sweet hello Shira. I think she likes being on camera. With a pretty short and sweet what? She's crying. A pretty short, if I can ever get through this sentence, with a pretty short and sweet video for y'all today. Wave. Hello, belly rub. So I'm actually this time going to talk about a more serious topic. I know I usually say that and then I'm just, kind of talking out the old, but this is actually a more serious topic, okay? Short and sweet, but I wanted to cover, go ahead, come on, she hates being held. I wanted to cover all the videos I've been seeing on YouTube that are fear-mongering about van life, okay? So as y'all know, I'm a van lifer. Going on 4 years now of van life, and it is something that I love. It is something that I would never give up voluntarily. I definitely don't want to ever live in a brick and mortar 4 walls and a roof kind of situation again, honestly. Having to pay rent, having to deal with all that stuff that comes with those situations, I just don't like. So what's up with all the fear-mongering videos? Okay, so to keep this as short and as concise as possible, basically, the new administration has made a lot of executive orders and stuff that are freaking people out and saying like, it's illegal to be homeless. I think what they're really meaning by that is when you're like in a tent or a cardboard box on the street or something, sleeping bag and sign, asking for money and stuff, laying on the sidewalk and stuff like that. I think that's kind of what they're mainly talking about. But understandably, a lot of van lifers are worried, like, is that going to, apply to everyone? Regardless of what their situation is, so if they're houseless like us and instead we live in a vehicle, is that going to affect us? And that's a valid, legitimate concern. But that being said, there's been a lot of people just really kind of freaking out and going like in their videos like, oh my God, it's going to be this huge crime, or even it is this huge crime. I watched this one here recently, and I mean, they were going on and on about, all sorts of really dramatic things. Like it was like, throwing the word felony out there and criminal record that'll follow you for life and all this stuff. So anyway, I think you guys get the point. There's a lot of that on YouTube. So really, I wanted to give you guys some tips and insights and advice, and also some reassurance, okay? That, the girls and I, my 2 partners and I, Chloe and Coda, we, 90% of the time do urban van life. So it's in a town, a city, a big city. And we rarely, I won't say never, but we rarely encounter major problems. Knock on wood. I don't have anything wood around, but anyway, I'll have to knock on something later. But all jokes aside, we rarely encounter problems. So there are certain things that I want you guys to know, okay? If you're doing urban van life like us, which I can't comment as much on the boondocking aspect of it, I can't comment as much on the rural aspect because we don't do much of that. But if you are doing the urban type like we do, we are, kind of professionals at it at this point. We're kind of experts at it at this point. We know kind of where to go, where to park, how to do it, even what's the right etiquette for it and all that. And I'm going to be making a new video all about those things very specifically in the near future. But for now, I wanted to share with you guys just some general, mostly common sense kind of tips and tricks or knowledge or wisdom as to, how do you avoid actually getting in trouble trying to do your lifestyle like van life. Okay, so one of the first things I wanted to cover is definitely don't stay in a place for too long. Okay, that's something I see so often. I mean, we'll just see, you know, the same van life sort of vehicle, like unmoved in the same spot for days. And if you're wondering, well, how are you seeing it for days? Because, you know, does that mean that you're going back for days? Are y'all going back over and over and over for days too? Not necessarily. Often what will be the case is we'll either be driving by, or, you know, say we're in a town or a city for X amount of time, we'll leave location A, I'll just call it, right, for overnight parking. And then maybe that's on day one, you know, we'll overnight park there, and then we'll leave. Then we'll come back in like 2 or 3 days to location A. After overnight parking in location B and location C, etc., we have like a rotation, you know, should always have one of those, okay? But instead, we come back and we see the same vehicles unmoved, right? And they're just kind of really camped out there. So, you know, again, that would be under the umbrella of common sense. Don't do that, okay? Keep it moving. Remember that if you're doing urban van life, there's a high probability that you are on private property. You're staying in the parking lot of a business or something like that, and you know, that's their business's parking lot. So if they're being cool and they're letting you do that, don't take advantage of it, okay? So keep it moving. Maybe come back in a few days, right? On like a rotation like we do. Also, always be respectful, okay? Don't leave trash. Don't try to not look really just like you're a crazy person, right? I covered in a former video that there's a methamphetamine and opioid and etc., all these like drug epidemics right now. So the last thing you want to do is seem like one of those sorts of people that are just really throwing caution and any kind of respect to the wind, and you just let it all hang out. You got trash, you got towels hanging over your vehicle, it looks all like camped out. Don't do that, okay? Obviously, you know, yeah, you might actually get in some kind of trouble for doing that, but again, it's common sense. So I already mentioned have a rotation. Yes, find certain places that are great to overnight park. We actually have ongoing lists that we keep, and you guessed it, I'll be making a video about that in the near future. Where are all the best places to overnight park in a city, in a town, in a large city, etc. So have that list, have it on your phone, have a mental list, and be like, where are the places that I could probably overnight park? Don't stay for too long, you know. Definitely don't be there, you know, pulling up at night, parked and stay there all night, all day, into the next night, all night, into the next day, etc. Don't do that. What you want to shoot for is the look and the appearance of you are a traveler, and you're traveling, you're passing through, you know. Literally, our Constitution protects every U.S. citizen, you know, like myself, for the ability to freely travel through all the states without any restrictions. So, you know, it's a constitutional right and a guarantee that you can pack your car, your truck, your van, your SUV up, and you can drive. You can go to the next state, drive all around the country. If that's what you want to do nonstop, just drive around the entire country. I mean, if you can afford it and you choose to do that, you can. There's no law or rule saying you can't. Of course, when you're doing that, you know, eventually you're gonna need to sleep. So that's kind of how we see our lifestyles. Like, it's just like an endless road trip. You know, we're just always on the go. Sometimes we'll stay in a town or a city for a little bit, obviously, because we like it. You know, we spend a lot of time in the Denver area, a lot of time in St. Louis area, etc. Right? If there's a city like that, there's a lot to offer, a lot of things we want to check out. We might stay longer. But you guys get the idea. Keep a low profile, make it look like you're passing through, you're traveling. And I mean, really, you should be, right? I mean, that's the whole thing. And if you're wondering, what do I do if I want to do van life just in one place, like just in my home city or just in a city and state, you know, I would just say take the current advice I've already given you and really stretch that and really apply that even more so. So have an extensive and lengthy list of all the places you can overnight park. Ideally, any place that has given you permission is, of course, great. So why not ask, especially if you're in a situation like that where you're going to be staying in the same place for a long time, they're going to start seeing you parked there a lot. So definitely ask, right? I mean, don't just try to take advantage of their tolerance, their kindness, you know, because eventually those things tend to run out. So yeah, as far as all the fear-mongering saying like, oh my God, they're just cracking down on it, and I watched a video that was saying avoid any city, you just cannot overnight park in a city. And I mean, that's really crazy, right? I mean, no, I mean, that's literally, as I said, 90% of all we do Again, going on van life for almost 4 years. And think about this too. I mean, again, don't abuse the place I'm about to say. Don't abuse their kindness, right? But Cracker Barrel, okay? Everybody's familiar with. Yes? What can I help you with? Oh, such a pretty voice. So everybody's familiar with Cracker Barrel, right? So they allow, and you could even argue they encourage travelers to overnight park. You know, they're kind of hoping you're gonna come in there to have some meal, some hot meals, some breakfast or something like that, right? So, you know, that's what Cracker Barrel is kind of known for, right? RVers, travelers, an overnight park. Which on a side note is a misconception, it's only RVs. No, I mean, it's if you're traveling on a road trip, whatever, van life, you can overnight park. But be very respectful, okay? But I bring them up because, you know, they've got over 600 locations in 44 states. That's a lot of locations in a lot of states, okay? So, you know, most states are going to see multiple locations. So think about it that way. I mean, as long as you're being respectful, you're not camped out, staying there for just ever, right? For the most part, you shouldn't have any problems, okay? And that's just one example. I mean, there's so many other places. Like I said, look for the upcoming video where I'm going to do a whole list and a whole explanation of all of them. But yeah, guys, so we've, knock on wood again, hardly been ever messed with. I call it being messed with because we're just trying to mind our own business, you know? But I would say it's once every, I don't know, thanks, Shira, knocking into the tripod again. I would say it's once every 2 to 3 months, maybe somebody will say something, a security guard, an employee at a business or something like, hey, you know, you guys need to move along, or we have a policy that you can't overnight park here. It's very rare that it's actually been a cop who is trying to, you know, actually say something to us in that sort of a way. The only times actually have been when we are just at our vehicles, maybe about to park or something. And that's been rare. Most of the time, though, the police officers we've encountered are really cool, really nice. No real problems with them. They're just very respectful. They can tell that we're traveling, and so we're doing our journey. You know, we're probably documenting it, which I am. And again, that's going to be one of the main kind of things to remember is don't look like you're one of these, you know, drug addict types or homeless types that are just really giving van life a bad name. I mean, they're camped out, taking advantage of the patience of the business or whatever that they're at for multiple days, leaving trash, looking like a mess, you know, over in the corner. Don't be one of those. And I think, you know, usually law enforcement officers, they can usually just tell the difference, right, between those two types of people. So we are very obviously travelers. So yeah, again, we are rarely talked to or messed with. And I'm on a jinxing spree right now. So that's for the most part what I wanted to tell you guys. Rest assured, be assured that it is rare for there to be any kind of significant issue. You can park places, just be smart about it, keep a low profile, you know, be respectful. Obviously don't leave a mess. Keep a rotation going where you switch the locations often. Try to look like, you know, what is true. You're just a traveler, you're on the move, you know, etc. I think you guys get the idea. You can build off of those points. So yeah, guys, that's pretty much what I wanted to share with y'all. It's a free country. You're free to travel, right? You're free to explore it, which we do. So yeah, you're protected in the Constitution to be able to just, you know, any citizen can travel to any state they want, explore all they want. Endless road trip, right, is what I call it. If you want to do that, if you can afford it, if that's your lifestyle choice, right? And that's exactly ours. And I think, or I know, the vast majority of law enforcement can tell, right? They're experienced enough to be able to tell who are the people that are just taking advantage of whatever business, right? And they live in a mess and they're camped out. Really sloppy, grimy, just eyesore, staying there for way too long, versus the people that are traveling, right? And that are maybe, you know, documenting it or YouTubing it like I am. So anyway, I think you guys get the idea, right? It's just those main points. Keep it clean, keep it respectful, move often, rotate, you know, low profile, right? When applicable, of course, you know, just ask also, is it okay if you overnight park? Just say you're traveling and, you know, it's true, right? You're on the go, etc. Right? It's all common sense. So rest assured, no need to panic, right? Again, going on 4 years of doing van life, all of us, well, me and Chloe and Coda, over 2 years? Yeah, over 2 years. So I hope this helps you guys feel more at peace, more at ease, and if you're about to start doing van life, you're more convinced now, totally start doing van life. It's totally worth it. It's awesome, okay? Or you are currently a van lifer, then hi, my van lifer friend and potential next neighbor. Yeah, don't listen to all the fear-mongering that's out there, all the really strong words that are being said that, oh my God, you know, it's all crashing down right now. Like, no. I'll definitely make a video if that ever happens, or starts to happen anyway. But before I ramble any longer, I'm going to wrap this up. It's already going on longer than expected. I will end with my usual fare thee well words of do no harm, always do good, and never stop thinking for yourselves. Imagine what an amazing world it would be if everyone woke up tomorrow morning and started doing that, right? I hope you all would join me in that. But until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe and comment. See you on the next video. And Kai out.